He want the scoop, she want the tea, she want the tea. I cannot speak, we keeping it street, we keeping it street. I took a loss, but you still gon' get beat, you still gon' get beat. How much it costs? It never been cheap, it never been. Turn your click up, dog, turn them up. Turn your bitch up, dog, turn her up. Tiny streets can't cross it, cross them up. All these streets need bosses, boss them up. Your click up, dog, turn them up. Turn your bitch up, dog, turn her up. Tiny streets can't cross it, cross them up. All these streets need bosses, boss them up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. A ball in his mouth for my brothers. Go yard bag, tote the cutter. I got it out the field, fuck Russell. Go and ask L'Oreal about the paddock, then go and ask Jordan, ask Dez. Elite water trying to drown a bitch. It's a habit tricking on a bitch. Shit, I'm thinking I could been a pimp. Shit, I'm cooking them dope like it's dinner. Shit, I come from zone 6 nigga trim. Shit, I'm floating, I'm out in the blimp. Shit, it look like I'm swimming in glass. Shit, I turn on my bitch cause you bad. Shit, I'm making her ex nigga mad. Shit, they going for that bap, I'ma smash. Real nigga alert, I'm securing the bag. Piping a bitch and ain't then I got cash. Turn up the shooters, but switches go bad. Stay with some scammers, my dog moving back. Trapping or rapping, my dog, you fall off.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 112 of the SplashCast Monday Night Raw, the Around the League edition. I'm your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host, Norwood. Our powers combined, we are your HBCU homeboys. Like he said earlier, this is episode 112.
Where the players dwell. What you talking about,
You
dog?
already
What you
know
talking
it.
about? Yeah, you got to be. I would say you got to be from the city to know about it, but I mean that's worldwide. But it's definitely in Atlanta, dog.
I am not.
From the
I am
state,
not
from the
from
state,
this.
from the state, from the state, from the state.
I was about
My
to
bad,
say,
my bad,
ease
my
up,
bad. From
ease
the
up,
state.
ease up.
Yeah, you sound like that. Did I tell you about that story at Hampton when I first got to Hampton? A girl from Augusta, a woman from Augusta was our big sister, and we were all introducing each other. And I said, "Hey," she's like, "I'm from Georgia." I said, "What part of Atlanta are you from?" She said, "Not everybody is from Atlanta. That's from Georgia."
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Not the same.
And and then she got disrespectful. I had to disrespect her. So I didn't disrespect her. I just she said a joke to me and I said a joke back. And
Augusta don't play that, bro. We do not play that. We are our own self-contained city. We are not Atlanta. Never claimed to be. It's just different. Respect, but it's different.
The jokes. I mean, again, you're my co-host and my friend, so I won't say what jokes I said. But she went in on me and I went in on her.
You shoot out now. I face strap.
But y'all. But y'all know the HBCU news around the culture is our first segment of our Around the League edition. We always talk about news going on around HBCU sports. Of course, this is It is what, 7 weeks? 7 weeks for HBCU football, I believe. I can't wait. This is Prairie View versus Alcorn. Shut your mouth, son. That is what I can't wait to see that again.
That
HBCU
instruction, that's not safe. That is not that. That looks like concussion protocol 1, 2, and 3. It looks like you need a whole new shoulder.
Yeah, and we talked
one more time. Let's just go.
Oh, I just closed it. But anyway,
we'll post it.
But we talked about earlier, couple episodes ago, some of the bigger games in the SWAC. In major black college football, or we have tiers too. So there's SWAC, MEAC, then there's the second tier. When I say second tier, Division 2, Division 3, which would be SIAC, CIAA, your independents, all of those places. So in the SWAC, the big non-conference games this year, Hampton and Grambling play in New York. Well, New Jersey, but you know what I mean. And play in the New York organization's stadium. Might have to make. I keep saying every game I say I might have to make. I'm be all over the country for football season.
There's a lot of people that Hampton game they are not playing.
And Grambling travels very well.
And there is a coordinated event from the Hamptonians to be in New York, and that's tri-state area. So You got a bunch of people up there. So.
Already. Central State versus Valley in Chicago. That's a big game for the Midwest. Alcorn plays Stephen F. Austin. That's a big game. Miles and Alabama. Huh? What?
That ain't. Well, Stephen F. Austin ain't a HBCU, but that's very interesting. And
No. This is games outside of. This is intercollegiate games. But yeah, you're right. Stephen F. Austin isn't. I don't think Valley is either. Miles
Valley State? Nope.
I don't think so. Miles versus Alabama State is actually going to be a big game. We talked about Tuskegee playing Alabama A&M this year, so all of the Alabama HBCUs, I believe, are playing each other in terms of the four major HBCUs. In terms of sports, are playing each other. FAMU is playing South Florida, and Jackson State is playing South Carolina State in Atlanta. Definitely going to that game. So these are some great games that I am looking forward to on top of the SWAC games that will be happening as well.
Yes, and these are HBCUs who are either playing against teams they regularly don't play against, or these HBCUs playing against other teams. This is an excellent opportunity for, once again, all of these schools, specifically FAMU and Alcorn, to get some good tape against people who people believe to be, I put good in parentheses. I had a discussion about HBCU football versus everybody else, and I think that there's some misleading facts out there with that.
Definitely is, man. Speaking of FAMU, though, unfortunately, FAMU, they are participating in the Peach Blossom Classic, which this year will be September 3rd at 3 p.m. on ESPN. But it has been said that they are not going, they have rejected, the FAMU athletic director has rejected the Orange Blossom Classic renewal contract, ending long-standing partnership. If you remember, last year they tried to pull out of the game, and then I don't want to say they got publicly, or was it Jackson State that tried to pull out last year?
Jackson State.
So both teams in consecutive years have tried to pull out of the
not a Larson Pippen. That joke was too easy.
Oh, I just threw it off the backboard for you.
I'm pretty sure you could probably throw it off the backboard.
Threw it off the backboard. All right, we're gonna stop. We're not gonna go down this whole pause.
Don't stop. If I have a joke, I'm gonna get this joke off. Everybody else didn't got off, so.
But anyway, so it seems like the Orange Blossom Classic, which was a huge game in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, then went away in the 80s and came back in the 2000s. Came back like 2-3 years ago, is now going to be over with, and it will not happen again with Jackson State and FAMU that they play in Miami.
We have to find we have to refocus this. We can't. The thing was gone for 43 years. And I think that right now, if you look at the HBCU college football landscape, FAMU and Jackson State are two excellent teams that they need to play each other to justify kind of their own season.
They do play each other.
But what I'm saying is like this classic, I think it needs to stay. I don't know why this one, and was it the Magic City Classic, or I can't remember the other one that they kind of are in the process of.
So the reason that was given by the AD is that they are trying to schedule other games, and it's not fair to their alumni who can't attend the games in Miami. I kind of understand, because you're going to play Jackson State anyway, and it's going to be a sellout game anyway. That game is always going to sell out because of the bands. FAMU, Jackson State, right. Southern.
So you say just do it at home.
They're going to do it. It's kind of like with the Georgia-Florida rivalry. Everybody likes playing in Jacksonville, but both schools have been on record saying, hey, we could do a home and home like Alabama LSU and get all the money versus having to pay Jacksonville. And we don't get, because I don't think they get a cut of like everything in Jacksonville. They just get tickets and merch.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not getting food and bev and all that.
Yeah, they're not getting that. So like if FAMU and Jackson State seem to me, I think to me, this is my opinion. I think that's the underlying issue, is that why are we paying to play a game that we could play at home? We could bring recruits in,
and
we
make
could
all
get
the
all the
money.
money and make all the money. Why are we paying to go somewhere else?
It's valid. That's valid. That is
ESPN
keeping
gonna
the
cover
money
it
in-house.
anyway.
Circulating the black dollar. We can't hate that. All right, approved.
Yeah, so I get it now. And then finally, we talked about black college baseball the last couple of weeks with the King Griffey Jr. organized HBCU Classic Showcase during the All-Star game. Swingman Classic.
Please go back and read about that.
Delaware State slugger Trey Paige has broken into professional baseball by he was drafted in the past Major League Baseball draft. So shout out to Trey Paige.
Yes, and thank the St. Louis Cardinals for taking a shot on a HBCU prospect, and this is a guy who we will continue to follow and support going forward.
Definitely, man, definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our HBCU news around the culture. We talked about baseball. We talked about upcoming football. Shout out to, I believe it was the CIAA that had a coaches conference where all the women's basketball coaches showed up at the end of last month. We just wanted to cover that as well. We talked about the football coaches and basketball coaches that did that in June for the MEAC and SWAC as well. It's called the Coaching Showcase. So shout out to all of them as well. We'll be right back. We're going to take a 2-minute break. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to be back with our basketball segment. We got to talk about some rule changes. I really want to talk more about Ice Cube, and then Summer League, and we got some free agency news as well. Y'all stay tuned. We will be.
Wait! Before we get out of here, please go ahead and put in your time for homecoming season, aka Black Culture Awareness Month. It is on the way. It is on the horizon. It's around the corner.
October off. Just take October off. Take it off. Listen, you can miss out on the September 30th, September 27th homecomings, and the November 3rd, 7th, 10th homecoming. You missed them. But October, you got to take the whole month off. Just take the whole every Friday off.
Remember that.
Black Culture Awareness Month. Copyright, trademark by the SplashCast. Merch coming soon. Merch coming soon. You missing the bottle of steroids to the left. We'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned.
And vitiligo.
The soap, the special soap. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our basketball segment of episode 112 of the SplashCast, the Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We got some things we're going to talk about today. I was told to keep it down because my daughter is asleep. So I will.
Hey, Pops. I know you and Uncle Norwood out there trying to build a media company and grow this podcast, but it's time for me to get my beauty rest. And if it's in your best interest to shut what we call up around here, if you want peace.
She is teething, bro. And that is something that I was not prepared for. That mug has woken up every night since the doctor. I blame the doctor. I sent the doctor a thank you note that said, thank you for jinxing me. Because the doctor said, oh, her gums are swollen. That means teeth are about to come. You're probably not going to get a lot of sleep for the first couple of days. She starts teething. And that night, she slept 3 hours. I was like, Doc, that means I slept 2. I was like, Doc, I hate you. But it's the truth. Anyway, basketball, let's get to it. So Norwood, tell me about this photo right here, bro.
Oh, so this is Bria Hartley. She is a Minnesota Lynx player. And she finds it extremely funny that her son calls the NBA team, you may know them as the Minnesota Timberwolves, the boys Lynx. And I think that they are the boys Lynx because
I was wondering why this was in there. It's definitely a shot. I knew it was a shot coming. I just
what? Bow, 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 bow. I'm Neo in the Matrix right now. And the reason I bring this up is because it's a callback to Carl Anthony Towns and that damn foolishness he talked about where he said he's saving his finger for a ring. Boy, you are not even the premier event in your city or your arena. You are the B team. The ladies are the A team. And y'all spent a bunch of money to be mediocre at best. And then this year, you like, oh yeah, we got it. You crazy as hell. Nobody trusts you.
We're back. Shout out to AJ. I don't know what happened. The rule changes in the league. So we picked right back up where the rule changes are. What's up, AJ? The NBA rule changes for 2023-2024 are flops will result in a tech plus a free throw. Coaches will be given a second challenge if the first is successful. One of these is common sense. One of these is going to make the game awful.
Flop. What is a flop?
That's why it's going to be awful. It's going to be subjective.
How do you define a flop? And the counter of that is if flopping will result in technicals, then if I'm any large NBA player, mostly Joel Embiid or Giannis or Joker, who we see scratched up in red after every game, call every one of these teams. Call all of them. Call every one without a doubt. And if you're not, I have a problem.
So what I've noticed about Adam Silver, a lot of his rules, a lot of his changes are a direct result of consumer complaints. So one thing that everybody's been talking about is the flopping in the game, how the game, we talk about it all the time. We try to figure out when flopping started, call it the soccer play, international players brought in flopping and all of that stuff. Lottie Divac, all of them started it. So this is a way for them to try to get flopping out of the game. But Adam Silver, you got to look through it. Think about it. Look through it of a lens of a certain demographic of people that don't really trust others in charge. So you're putting the subjective power in referees' hands. We've had multiple in the referee being investigated now because of his love for the Celtics and all of that stuff, and saying that his calls were
oh no, that's to do with the burner account.
Yeah, with the burner account. So you don't really have the greatest standing with referees. People don't forget stuff that you do bad. I mean, there's one ref, I think he just got out of jail for he was fixing games. So there's I don't know how you're going to be able to enforce the flop with a tech, because every game you're going to have to play differently because it's not going to be a universal rule.
So my thing is, and what they've always said is they want the game to be played, not manipulated. And at one point it was definitely being manipulated. The two largest culprits, James Harden and Trae Young, they had mastered the rule book. Mm-hmm. And I get I get the spirit of this rule, but flopping is such a subjective term. Is a flop I was completely missed and I just fell down, or is a flop where a guy kind of hit me but I leaned into it? Because if a guy kind of hit me but I leaned into it, I'm just pronouncing the foul that you missed. That's not, to me, that's not a flop.
Dennis Schroeder said it the best, though.
You fall down.
That as long as it's consistent, but Dennis Schroeder said it best. Like, the reason soccer players play the way they do, the reason basketball players flop the way they do, like Schroeder, is because it forces the referee to make the call. That if it's illegal touching and you flop, that's an illegal touch. That is considered a foul. Now, when you add in this flopping rule, even though if it's a foul and you flop, does that now negate the fact that you flopped because the foul has precedence? Or is it a foul and a tech? Or, like, how does this work?
To me, you can't qualify it a flop if you call it a foul. And like, to me, this is easier for little people than it is for big people, because a lot of what we consider flops are just little guys getting hit by bigger guys and leaning into it. That's a lot of it. Versus a bigger guy who just can't lean. Like, if Trae Young comes, he can't flatten a guy on a screen. He ain't gonna just run you over. But that doesn't mean that you didn't get fouled because he was moving. So for me,
if you try to set a screen and you're Trae Young, and the guy doesn't see you and Trae falls back, Is that a flop? Like, I mean, what is the difference between flopping and embellishing? I guess is the real question.
That is it. That is it. And that's all subjective. To me, I don't think that this will last long. And I think it's more of a waste because you're not even it's one of those team texts, like 3 in the key or something. It's not a technical foul issued to a player. I think that if you're going to issue a technical foul to a player, then you might have a little bit more traction because at least that player's like, well, I can't do this again because if I get the second one, I'm out of here. But just racking up flop checks is trash. I think this will be a one and done rule, but I do think that it's excellent. You know, we talked about the trash of the flop rule. That second challenge is fundamental. I don't even know how they made that rule in the beginning where if the referee made a mistake and I pointed it out, I shouldn't be penalized for that. I could never understand that. That to me was mind boggling. I'm glad they fixed that.
I didn't understand why that was. Dumb me, I thought that was the rule from the jump. When I watched the game and he won the tech, I was like, oh, so then you won the challenge? I was like, oh, why aren't they challenging this game? Why aren't they challenging this? And then they said, no, even if you win, you only get one challenge. Well, that doesn't really change the game. That doesn't change the game at all. Because now I have to let every play go that I think is wrong. And then I can only challenge in the last 2 minutes of the game because that's when it matters.
And I hate to say
you can't do that.
Yeah, you're right. That has the issue that basically got rid of the original. I mean, the first 3 quarters of the game on a challenge. So I have to really have a valuable possession for me to challenge this for the first 3.5 quarters of the game, because when the game is really on the line, I need to have my challenge. Now I think you're gonna see way more challenges in the first half, especially if they know they got it, because I'm gonna get it back.
Yeah, this is common sense. Like I said, one rule is common sense. One I think is not gonna make it. It's gonna make the game worse. Let's jump right back to Ice Cube, man. Ice Cube told y'all, I'm about to go on a press run. I'm about to put pressure on the NBA for the big 3. You about to say something?
I'll wait.
So let's give Ice Cube a listen.
Big 3 is no way can compete with the NBA. Adam Silver and Mark Tatum, they can really wave it. Now, NBA owners can invest in pickleball, the TBT league, which is the basketball league, slam ball, which is coming back. But, you know, what makes the big 3 so special at the end of the day? You know, we're being basically looked at unfairly by those 2 or the top brass at the NBA as a competitive league, and we're not.
What owners are you selling them to? Are you selling to NBA owners?
Several big name owners have showed interest, but because of the bylaw that says they can't invest in a competing league, anybody can see that.
So he's correct. The NBA bylaw say you cannot invest in a competing league. He's definitely being blackballed. I had a couple other points. I'll let you jump in while I think about it.
Yeah, so for me, when he had the first, I think it was an Instagram post, it really didn't give me enough to understand. He was very, he just didn't give you enough information for you to understand what he was going through. It was like, hey, the powers that be are working against me. And that's very ambiguous. You know, Ice Cube is a guy who's
very
for
direct.
the majority of his career, very direct. I mean, you heard about the song "What the Police,"
or no Vaseline.
Correct. But he's always very direct in what he's saying, and this was very ambiguous. I thank him for putting context around exactly where he was running into the issue, and I can understand and support this now. You're right. The Big 3 in no way, shape, or form is competing with the NBA.
Nobody's going to retire from the Big 3 to go. From the NBA to go play in the Big 3. Nobody's going to do that. I dare
say that Ice Cube would love to just be a complimentary league to the NBA. How can I help your product be better? What can I do for you?
Well, he said that.
And I think.
Oh, go ahead.
He's only had one player who was in the big three to go back to the NBA. And I mean, ISO Joe was ISO Joe, but he got back to the NBA and he's a big three player.
Because of the big three. Like, and Absolutely. What I don't understand is, and nobody's talking about, and he didn't say it here, but he actually released an article as well. He's been on other podcasts. They offered the NBA 10% free of charge. When they first came out, we said, we will give you 10% ownership. We just need y'all to help back us. That's more than you make trying to back any other black-owned business out there. And they said no.
I could probably understand them not wanting to do that, because at that point, then you're required to help them. And I could understand how I want proof of concept before I just get into signing up for this league. Now, I do understand the Ice Cube is reputable. He runs many different types of businesses, all successful. But the big three was a big undertaking on day one. I think that it's still a big fight now. I think that he's shown proof of concept, and I think he's mastered it a lot more. You've seen the girls try to pick theirs.
They had 100,000 more viewers than one of those big events. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just there now, and I hope to see one of like I told you last week, I would love to see Carmelo play in the big three. I would like to see a true first ballot Hall of Famer, NBA killer just go to the big three and immediately certify this league as this is not competing, but this is the new way for all the guys who are done playing basketball to continue to entertain.
This is why the NBA missed the boat. This is the senior PGA Tour. You have a chance to create the senior NBA Tour. Literally, you have the big three that travels around. They're not the Harlem Globetrotters. They're actually playing against other teams. You saw Nate Robinson and dude from UNC get into it. There's theatrics. It has everything there. This is your senior pro-am. And you missed the boat because you're trying to freeze out thinking that you're going to lose an audience, which is just insane to me. I can see if LeBron left, but I mean, I don't hate the skepticism, but now you're past that point. You see it. It's there. And there has to be a point. You're exactly right. Lou Williams, take your ass to the big three. Coach Rondo, you know how long you're supposed to be been in the big three? All of these guys are the guys who you should be trying to filter. You should be directing these guys into the big three because they're still NBA players first. That brand always is going to take the primary position. They're going to say, greatest six man of NBA history, Lou Williams. Future NBA Hall of Famer, four-time gold medalist or three-time gold medalist, whatever. Well, 4.
Exactly.
You have a lull, a money-making lull from July 17th, July 18th until October. You also have a lull from July to September, which is just baseball. So you have a chance to then plug in the big three, your senior pro tour for July and August. You get out the way for September and October for baseball and football. Then you start basketball at the end of October. You have a chance to be 10 months out of 12 months revenue making.
I'm going to tell you my ambitious but perfect world. Every NBA franchise has the NBA team, WNBA team, G League team, Big Three team. That is ideal. And that allows high tide raises all ships. And I think that's a better product across the board for everybody. And basketball, that might be a way for you to run football out of there. If you could just inundate the world with basketball and say, hey, what type of, if you old, this old man basketball, you're young, this young man's basketball. You're a pro fan, pro, women, and put it together.
You're never going to run football out of there, though. Football owns Sunday. You'll never run football out of there. Ever.
We will own the rest of this.
And they own Saturday if you really want to talk about it. College football and football own Saturday and Sunday from October to February. So, but
what I'm saying,
you could take Monday through Friday.
Basketball, you can position your sport, which is kind of turning the corner because safety and all these other variables that you could do something good for yourself.
Mm-hmm. You definitely could. So, hey, man, we're always going to support the black-owned business. We're always going to support the homie Ice Cube. We think it'll get it done. And NBA, man, don't be stupid. You're leaving money on the table. You're leaving representation on the table. Put your money where your mouth is.
And thank you for expounding. And once again, thank you for expounding on a platform of another black person, so that we can get the message out how we would like to.
Shout out to Kerry Champion
without being misconstrued, and we feel comfortable in a place to truly speak how we would like to.
100%. All right, let's get to some of this free agency talk. Your man, Joel Embiid, did an interview. He's done a couple interviews. First, he talked about James Harden, wishing that he would come back, knowing James ain't coming back. And then now he says he just wants to win a championship, whether it's in Philly or anywhere else. And you knew by saying this that everybody's antennas raised. Like, what the hell? What you mean? So immediately trade scenarios came out. They said the Knicks got everything to sign him. The Knicks, Brooklyn, who he could team up with to go play. Dallas was a team that came up. But of course, he then doubled back and says, what's my middle name? Troel. I think where there's smoke, there's fire, though.
I agree 100%. LBVS, laughing but very serious. Do I think that this is 95% a joke? Yes, but timing is everything. One thing that we're going to talk about here now is James Harden and Daryl Morey. Their relationship seems that it has been severed. Everything that has come out recently, and I kind of told you guys this last week because I had heard a couple of things that he was upset about not getting paid. Well, we all have life, and life comes at us fast from time to time. But we know that in the moment where things are difficult, this is not the time to be playing. And Joel is playing right now. And I think that he can get it off as a joke because it seems funny. But I think that if I'm Daryl Morey, I need to have in the back of my head that my house is on fire right now. I have no way to move James Harden. He's pissed at me, and he only wants to go to the Clippers. And this is the time that you play. You cannot play right now. And I think that if he's playing right now, he is at least putting it out there into the atmosphere that I could be next. And Philly, you got a problem.
I think
you don't know it or not, you got a problem.
I think Joel's personality makes this more funny and trolling than anything. But let's be clear. This is definitely a Kobe Bryant move. Kobe Bryant said, y'all need to get me somebody or you can trade me. Kobe Bryant is just super serious. Kobe Bryant didn't troll. He wasn't on social media like that. He was very serious. Joel Embiid, make no mistake about it. This is a warning. Whether you want to say he's trolling, this is a warning. Hey, I'm 29 or 28, however old he is. My contract really ain't. I signed an extension, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. I only got 2 more years left before I could opt out. Y'all better make something shake soon or I'm out of here. And because the NBA is a players' league, even though the collective bargaining agreement kind of took some of that away from them and the owners are trying to put their foot down when it comes to forcing their way out. If he decides he wants to go, he's going to go. As you just said, James Harden and Daryl Morey were like homies. And now him and James Harden and Morey are now essentially done because of what you said. I'm gonna take a pay cut this year, but you got to pay me next year. And then Morey said, nah. Well, James is gonna force his way out. And at the end of the day, that's what Joel's gonna do. And if that happens, Daryl Morey, you, sir, will be out of a job.
Yeah, because you remember you already did that thing with the Rockets, and now they did not like that. But you got on to a different place. But and I just want to keep this in the back of your mind.
That boy said that
just
thing.
saw James Harden, and you just saw Joel Embiid together at that Mike Rubin party, and they looked like they were having the time of their life. And you can say that this is just business, but they are friends. It is very clear that they are friends. And if you have a friend who you work with, y'all are going to have a conversation. And I don't know.
And the whole team knows. You ain't got to be friend. The whole team knows. If you said you're going to pay me and you don't, I'm telling everybody in Philly know. They got a group chat. Some people might not be in it, but it's a group chat with somebody.
And you know that, number one, Embiid has already kind of put out there this. And then Maxey got to be looking at him like,
y'all got to pay me soon.
I ain't got paid yet.
Oh, and they came out and said we will not be discussing an extension with Maxey in the offseason.
End of the season. I ain't got paid yet. And one thing that we know black people do not do is work when they ain't got paid yet.
We did that for too long. We don't do it no more.
It's a part of our history that you get fooled me once. Can't be fooled again.
Burn this mug down,
I just think that and then the other part is you got Tobias over there getting rich, fat and rich, being regular. So yeah, all of that together is going to make it very difficult.
Tobias ain't did nothing, dog. Y'all gonna call him a crumble cookie. Y'all gonna call him fat and rich.
It does not matter. You are just here, and your money is causing problems to the rest of this team. Harsh reality, it is what it is. But when it really comes down to it, they have a difficult situation to navigate for the next, I would say, 12 months. The only thing that
12 and it's July. They have a difficult situation until October. They got to make something shake by the trade deadline. And like you said, you can't. You
bring in Paul Pierce back? You're not Paul Pierce.
Paul George? Yeah, it'd be Paul George. No, they will give them everybody else. I didn't say who. I just said everybody else. There's a reason I said everybody else.
Boy, these people don't even eat leftovers. You think you finna play with some? You crazy as hell, man. Don't send me none of them.
All right, man. We gonna. It's the summer, so we gonna bring back up a debate. Trae Young says it's not that far off. We kind of do the same things while he was on Draymond Green's podcast. Let's take a listen. Oh, this video has no sound. So basically, if you take a step back, you're very close in points. I think you're probably lead in assists. He said, yeah, I lead in assists. But the narrative out there isn't the same. And he says, talk to me about that. He said, I don't stress over it no more. Basically, Trae Young is saying that we're not that far off. We do kind of the same things. And as you guys know, for the listeners out there, I have said this multiple times. They have had very similar careers as going forward. So, to this point. But, hey, man, it is what it is. As you can see by his posture, now y'all know where Ludacris, or I should say Norwood, stands on with Trae Young. So,
just let me know when it's my turn.
Go ahead.
So, Trae. What? Where? This is frustrating because this makes no sense to me.
Why?
It legitimately makes no sense.
Why?
Trae. Similar, yes. You guys have the same job. You work for the same company. You score a lot of points. He scores a lot of points. He's the assist leader on his team. You're the assist leader on your team. The difference is this man averages damn near 10 rebounds a game.
He's a forward. He's a point forward.
I don't care what position he plays. He leads his team in rebounds. You don't. He is a 4-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA first team. He's the rookie of the year, the same rookie year you had. Mm-hmm. He's all-rookie first team, and he's a EuroLeague champion.
You throw that EuroLeague shit out there.
What Trae won at Oklahoma?
So that he played EuroLeague for like 8 years, for 7 years. What, 7 years? What you talking about? Get out of here.
It was the MVP.
Throw that shit out of there. Throw that shit out of there. Throw that shit out of there.
Okay. Throw it out. Okay, let's just go there. Trae is a fringe all-star at best. He did not make the all-star team this year. Luka has made the all-star team 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trae has made the all-star team 1 time. Just so y'all can see that. These are different. He leads his team in 3 statistical categories. You lead your team in 2 statistical categories. Luka's team is nowhere near as good as the team that Atlanta has put around you. Let's be very clear about that. So when you say these things, you are similar, correct. Not far off. You far off as hell. Luka will be an MVP candidate next year. Trae will not be an MVP candidate next year. Luka is a lock to be an all-star. Trae, we got to see how the season plays out.
So when it comes to production, when it comes to results, they're very similar. The only thing that Luka has more statistically than Trae is rebounds. Trae has more assists, just as many points, and he has better field goal percentage. They are very similar. The results are very similar. They've both been to the conference finals when technically they really shouldn't have been. Nobody really believed that they were going to get there when they did.
Fair.
They've both been to the conference finals. They both have been to the All-Star game, All-Star team. They both
4 All-Stars to 1 All-Star.
They've both been to the All-Star game. They've both been Luka has been first team all. I'll give you a first team all NBA. Trae has been, I think, second team once or twice.
Hey.
So
you got the same amount of All-Star games as Kyle Korver, my boy. Hate to keep it real with you. But 4 All-Star games and 1 All-Star game is not the same.
Who's the starting point guards in the West?
Bruh.
No. If you want to have it, say it. Who's the starting point guards in the West?
SGA. Russell Westbrook.
Not all-star.
Dame Lillard. I gotta look. I gotta think.
Exactly.
Jamal Murray.
He just arrived this year. Jamal Murray was hurt for the past 2 years.
He got the same amount of All-Star games as Trae Young.
This year, right?
Up.
This year, right?
Yeah. 1?
Go ahead. Keep going. So you've named...
no. You gotta take it. I was going to say LeBron, but I mean, I guess
he doesn't go in as a point guard.
But it is very clear to see if you watch basketball, Luka is the MVP candidate. Trae Young is a fringe all-star.
I'll give you that. I mean, Trae, he's definitely an MVP candidate because he's bigger than Trae. He's 6'9" and gets rebounds. But also, Luka wouldn't average that many rebounds if he had a rebounder. He doesn't have a rebounder. So Luka is Mr. Dud. Luka is Mr. Do Everything, right?
Can I ask you a question? If Trae did not have a rebounder, do you think that he would get 7-8 rebounds a game?
I think he would probably get like 4 versus the 2 that he averaged. I think he would get 4 or 5 if you don't have a rebounder. I don't think he would get 9 like Luka. Luka's 6'9". I mean, you can't do it. It's not gonna happen. I don't penalize Trae for the rebounds. You 6'9". It is what it is.
You're right, but you just can't say that we're not far off, and this guy can lead the team.
You can't say they're not far off, man. Okay. The production and the results have been similar. I think Trae led the league in total points and assists the last 2 years. No, James Harden led. No, he did. In total points and total assists, it was Trae Young. The past 2 years.
If you're telling me that leading the Dallas Mavericks in rebounds is just a throw-in, then sure. We all kind of the same. Hell,
I didn't say it was a throw-in. I said I don't penalize Trae for not getting that many rebounds.
So, okay. When it really comes down to it, is Trae an MVP candidate right now?
He won't be. He won't be. He can't. Not at point guard.
Not.
Because he can't. Luka had the rebounds put Luka in the MVP candidate because it makes him get close to a triple-double. Trae will never get close to a triple-double because he can't get 10 rebounds.
So now that he has, because he has Rashawn Holmes, he has Derek Lively, I assume that Luka does. He should not rebound as well as he should at this point, right?
Sure, he shouldn't.
If he continues, then what do you say?
They continues that they need to invest in rebounding. Your point guard shouldn't be leading you in rebounding. That's what I would say. Okay.
Well, yeah. If you want to believe that Trae and Luka are not far off, you're more than welcome to believe.
So
I would tell you, I know it is one specific subset of people who surely don't believe that. The people who are in the front office for the Atlanta Hawks, because it ain't no way in hell. At this point in their career, seeing what they've seen so far, they would still make that trade. And if they would, then we need to just move our team back.
This is postseason. I'm about to say this can't be regular season. It's got it because they ain't make the postseason.
No, it's not even close to me. I don't think that. I think that out of all teams, if you said take Luka or take Trae, I think they're all taking Luka.
Yeah, nobody's arguing that Luka isn't better than Trae. But if you're saying that it's not even, you're saying it's not even close, and I'm like, you're wild for that. You're wild. You're wild.
If 100% of the teams will take this guy and not take the other guy, then yeah, I don't think it's very close to me. Not one team will say I want Trae
over Luka. No. You can't. Luka's 6'9". You can't take 6 feet over 6'9". You can't.
Hey, have you seen that picture where they traded and did that in real life?
Yeah, I'm talking about now. We're talking about right now. You said now, right?
Okay, then.
Nobody's going to take that.
For me.
You wouldn't trade Ja Morant for Luka. Like, you're not going to trade anybody for Luka unless his name is Giannis. That's the only person you would trade for Luka. That I can see.
That shows that
he's not. Okay,
I'm done. The value for me ain't there. It's a no for me. I can't even believe that this is a thought process for anybody. But I think
what are you arguing? What are you arguing?
It's not close. It's not close.
And that's where I disagree. Close. That's where I disagree. I think you slight Trae and boost Luka way
It is
more.
Literally 7 to no. It's 10 players I'm taking before I get to Trae.
At the point guard position?
At point guard. Probably.
Come on. No.
Well, when you started comparing the two, I was talking about players in general. But if it was guards, yeah, I'm taking 7 people before I'm taking Trae. We've already been over this, though.
So Trae says being labeled a coach killer was crazy to me. Now, sir, I was on your side for number 1. I was like, hey, man, look, y'all are similar. The production and the results have been very similar, no matter what Norwood says and hates. But you trying to say you're not labeled a coach killer? You're a coach killer when you refuse to adopt the philosophies of the coach. When you don't zero in on defense, now I will say some of it was coaching that got Nate fired. But when you don't buy into the coach and you're supposed to be the leader of the team, you ain't the leader no more, but you're supposed to be the leader of the team. It's crazy how they replaced that personality. Now I think about it, but we'll get to it. You're not the leader of the team. You're the leader of the team at the time. It's your job to get everybody to buy into the coaching, which is also similar to Luka too. But being labeled a coach killer, I can't say you are a coach killer, but I can say that the shoe may just fit. You just ain't tried it on yet, but everybody else can see that the shoe could fit.
You might not be a coach killer, but it's some murders that didn't happen on your watch. But once again, I know for me, as not the typical Atlanta Hawks fan, there is no way but through. I am happy about this. You're right. He's not a coach killer. Lloyd Pierce was not prepared for this. He was never the guy. He was too young. He needed more time. Nate, he's too old too much defense. He's not hip for this
offense. Yeah, he's not for this day and age.
But wait, this is the best part about it. We have your guy here now, Quinn Snyder. We have sifted through all the guys. You Goldilocks at this point. LP was too young. Nate is too old. Well, Quinn Snyder is just what you need, my brother.
And you went and got your boy.
He is your perfect age, I would assume. He wants you to shoot more threes. This is the only way that I'm going to be able to get what I want. I've understood that, and that's the reason I said trade John Collins. There's only one way, and it's to give Trae everything that he wants, and then let's see what the results are. But I'm interested to see what the results are.
I think that the results will be pretty good because everybody has gone to the West. The West is wildly loaded. And I think we went through it on Saturday Morning Live when I said, I didn't even talk about this team. I think I said that like 4 times. Because we were talking about Utah, where could they be with John Collins? Where would they be seated? And by the time we finished talking, he was like 11, which is not a slight to Utah. It's just the West. Outside you got Boston. I'm assuming they're interesting to see because we are not saying Marcus Smart was we are saying that Marcus Smart was the heart and soul of that team. He's gone now. He's West. He went out West. You have
West Coast Productions.
You have the 76ers. James Harden is about to be out of there, right? Who is number 3?
The Bucks.
The Bucks are back. The Bucks are back. I mean, they got everybody back. And they added players. And then there's 4. Toronto, you might actually get Siakam. That's another thing. Ain't nobody LeBron. Dog. AJ, you right. Trae and LeBron. No.
So, but this is the thing for me. So we do understand that the East should be easier, right?
Should be. Depending on what Dame does with the Heat.
And leadership is listening to his request.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, bro, do you right? This is all on you. You should be better. Now, if he's better, don't take that away from him either. Now, if he's better, don't shoot it down because you quick to do that.
But how long? I mean, are we expecting? What is the expectation that you have
out of the play-in? The play-in is null and void. Play-in is a failure. We are not the Miami Heat. We are not about to play our way from the 9 seed to the finals. Not gonna happen. The play-in cannot happen.
Okay.
So I just said those 4 teams. I think we should be better than Cleveland. Bing.
Do you really think that? I don't.
I don't know. It depends on what we do at the 4. I don't. We got to see by the end of free. Well, Siakam makes us better than Cleveland. Siakam makes us better than Cleveland.
Wait. Okay. So, first of all, Cleveland has not done anything but fill the one little hole they had, with Amani Bates at that small at the 3 who can shoot. The one big problem they had, they fixed. What have you seen from Atlanta in the offseason that says that this team is better than it was last season?
Oh, no. I don't think we're done. I mean, signing DeJounte brings us back, but I don't think we're done.
That doesn't make us better. He was saying he played on the team last year.
I believe that if they were to go get Siakam, which it seems like that is the play that they are putting all their eggs in the basket for, I think that puts us at the 5, 6 seed.
You think that's a good move?
To get Siakam if he resigns. If he resigns and you don't have to give up all your young players, they talking about giving up Capella only. If you can only give up Capella and DeAndre Hunter, Capella and DeAndre Hunter, then yeah, I would do it. It's no problem.
You would give up Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter for Pascal.
DeAndre Hunter is out of there. He's gone. They are going to get rid of him. Period. He hasn't developed like they want him to. Capella is the one that they didn't want to get rid of, but I mean, in order to
have to move him or Okongwu anyway, so one of those.
And Okongwu is not going to get moved. They That's why Capella is available, because they don't want to move Okongwu.
So, I mean, Hunter on a very good NBA deal, right?
They don't. Nah. Well, I mean, NBA deal, yeah. But I mean, they're not. They can't keep him.
Capella on a good NBA deal, and he's a top 5 rebounder every year he's played for the Hawks. You think that Pascal Siakam is worth that? I
think Pascal Siakam gives you a third scorer. That's what they need in the starting lineup. They need a third scorer. They got 2 point guards. They got 2 point guards. DeAndre Hunter, who doesn't pass the ball at all. And then you have no 4. You have Jalen. I like Jalen Johnson as the 4, but you can't let him run point because you have 2 point guards. And then you have Clint Capella, who can't do anything but catch lobs. So you have to build the team around both point guards, and you got to add shooting, which is Siakam does. And he can create his own shot.
Why do we need more scoring if we have second best offense in the NBA?
Why do we need more playmaking? We need more players that can get their own shot. The reason we didn't like John Collins, not because of the contract, it was because John Collins' shooting went down and John couldn't create his own shot. That's why John had to go.
If we score more points, do you think that makes us a better team next season?
No. I don't know. No, I think Jalen would be just as good of a defender. I don't know how much defense. Oh, well, we lose Hunter. I was about to say with John Collins, I don't know how much defense we lost with John Collins by replacing him with Jalen Johnson. The interesting thing is if you do get off of Hunter and Capella, how does that work from the backup position? Because our strength is our depth. Was our depth. So if you you're taking your 2 young stars in the making, players in Okongwu and Jalen Johnson who play very well together, and you're putting them in the starting lineup. I'm assuming you're going to start them if you get rid of those 2. And you're then going to put, who would be the 3? Sadiq Bey? Bey at the 3. Oh, Siakam at the 3. Yeah. Siakam at the 3. So I think that could work for the way that they want to play.
What you gonna do with your bench now?
Bogey, AJ, Buffkin. You ain't got no Bruno Fernando. You ain't got. That's the part. It's Bruno. It's the front court. You have no front court off the bench. Maybe Sadiq Bey, Bogey, Sadiq Bey.
And where are we gonna get rebounds from?
Jalen gonna have to play 42 minutes. Or you go.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't.
I want to wrap this up, but I'm trying to tell you guys. Travis Slink was right. He says you can trade all the rest of these players you want to. Until Trae leaves, this is going to be our team. We're going to score a bunch of points and not play any defense. You can dress it up however you want to. You can put Italian dressing, ranch dressing, honey mustard. It's the same shit salad.
There's really nobody we can go get, though. I don't think.
That's the reason you trade Trae.
And get who?
That's it.
Anybody? Get anybody you want at that point.
Wait. But this is where our conversation kind of comes full circle. I told you from the beginning. There are a bunch of guys I want instead of Trae. So his value isn't. But if y'all believe he's that good, then we should be able to go trade for any of these guys.
That's what I'm saying. You could trade. If you trade Trae, you can get anybody you want outside of like Luka.
Think you trade Trae for Jaylen Brown?
Yeah. I think Boston would do that. Well, I think Boston would do that. I think Boston, if that were offered, and Atlanta had the cap space to do it, and it was fair I think they would do that. Because now you have Kristaps Mitchell. I would do that. I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah. Well, not that team because they got Darius Garland. You're not gonna play Trae with Darius Garland. You'd have to trade. No. Devin Booker to me is in that Luka, that Luka, Giannis, Devin Booker. That's the face of the franchise. Never gonna go anywhere. Like you can't trade Trae for Tatum, but you could trade Trae for Brown. right?
I don't think you can trade Trey.
I think you can't trade Trae for. There's nobody on the Heat. I don't see. That's like a push. I wouldn't. You could do it. I don't know if I would.
SGA?
Yeah.
Oh no, not a chance. Not a chance.
Oklahoma. There's a lot of Oklahoma's prodigal son coming home. Yeah, they would definitely do that.
Yeah, and then you're gonna look at what did you just say about the difference between Luka Doncic and Trae Young? It's the same difference between SGA and Trae Young.
No, SGA don't rebound like Luka. SGA is taller, but no.
Yes.
No.
So you putting
SGA in the Luka conversation?
No, I'm putting SGA in the Trae Young conversation. Firmly.
And I'm saying Trae Young. They would do that. They would entertain that trade. That trade would be talked about. They would be one of the teams calling like, I don't know if they would. They would probably actually try to pair SGA and put SGA at the 2 and put Trae at the 1, and then they would trade us everybody else. No. But I think that's what they would do.
No.
Yeah. They would.
I strongly disagree. I actually don't think the value on Trae Young is high as people believe.
And they also say, shit ain't really fun. Trae says shit ain't really fun being a villain. Nah, Trae, don't be no punk now, dog. You got to lean into it. Lean into being the villain. I would. If I were Trae, first of all, you being happy wasn't getting you playing the best basketball. You being sad wasn't getting you playing the best basketball. When people disrespect you, when people start yelling at you, spitting on you, doing all that stuff, you come out and hit game winners. You did it in Boston. You did it in New York. You almost beat Milwaukee. Like, you do all of that stuff when you're angry. So if I were Trae, I would lean into being the villain role. Draymond did. Draymond had made $200 million off being a villain in defense. I would. That's just me.
Number one, villains are losers. Protagonists, antagonists. You watch 98% of shows, we're looking for the protagonist to win. Number two, you are the highest paid player on this team. You're the distributor for everybody else. You're telling me that the guy who we spent a bunch of money on, his success is tied to his emotions. That's not what I want. That's the last thing I want. I want a guy who's going to be consistent and give me what I need every night. That is the difference between Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. Same thing here.
A lot of players' success is tied to their emotions. What are you talking about?
Ooh.
I don't think Miami beats Boston without Jimmy Butler getting riled up by Grant Williams. Just off the top of my head. Right then and there. I don't think Miami gets past Boston. I don't think Miami gets past Milwaukee. Well, no, they beat them. They swept them. Almost swept them. I don't think they get past Boston without Jimmy Butler and Grant Williams going at Jimmy Butler. Right? LeBron went nuclear against Boston when they disrespected him and came back 3-1 when he was disrespected against the Warriors. He went nuclear.
LeBron
KG
is also on record saying that villain shit was one of the worst things that I have ever leaned into. It wasn't me. That's not who I am. And that's not how I play basketball.
But I don't care what he says. I don't care about him being on record. That's arbitrary to me. I'm saying it's a lot of players' talents and peak performance is directed. Anger brings out normally in a competitive situation. You played football in high school. Anger brings it out of you. If you go into a game and you happy-go-lucky versus a dude that's playing and angry and playing for his life, anger brings that out of you. So I can see why.
I disagree there.
I've seen it. There's not how many players have won championships that are like happy-go-lucky. There's Steph, Magic Johnson. That's really all that are happy-go-lucky. There's
a difference in being happy-go-lucky and just, hey, I'm here to play basketball.
Neither one of them are hey to play basketball. Neither one of them that way.
But I mean, this is the thing. I am taking a back seat to all of this with Trae. Just show me now. We're giving you what you want. Hopefully, just hopefully, we're gonna see who you are now. There's limited room for excuses, right? Reggie?
I just wanted to. I wanted to see us when we talk about DeJounte. Yeah, there's no excuses. But when we talk about DeJounte, I want to see. So DeJounte Murray signed back with the Hawks. You
wrong one. I got another one.
DeJounte Murray signed back. Hold on. DeJounte Murray signed back with the Hawks on a 4-year, $120 million deal, which is probably 2/3 of what he could have gotten. He says, I don't play about loyalty. I promise you, you will get all my all on the court and to off the court to touch the community that needs my help. It was never about the money I can get. It's always about loyalty and doing whatever it takes to get to winning. Let's rock and roll. And this for sure is somebody taking a pay cut, because there were multiple places. I think we talked about it on the podcast the night that it came out. Hey, Brooklyn looks nice for you. And he signed with the Hawks. And this is a second quote that he said was, I know that this is where I stand on this team. He's like, yo, I am, you can call it number 2. I call it 1B. I don't really say number 2. Now, if you get Pascal, then yeah, you probably number 2 or 3. But I think he's going to be more of the point guard role. I'm interested, Rayford, Young the third. It sounds like to me, he's going to be, dang, you can't see my mouse. DeJounte is going to be the distributor, and Trae will have to play off the ball more if he's going to be the one to get everybody else better. We'll see. But I do like the loyalty from DeJounte. I would not have done the same, but I like it. And we'll go from there.
I don't understand how we get to the point that DeJounte is.
DeJounte is what?
DeJounte is the best player on that team. It's the best player on that team. It's the best player on that team, without a doubt.
What are you trying to say? Because
you're saying you said like he's gonna be 1B. He said that he's 1B. He's the best player on that team, without a doubt. I don't know why we play this game. Sure, 20 points and 7 assists as number 2. What are we doing here? And 100 steals? Okay, let's play the game a little bit longer. Yeah, DeJounte Murray, number 2. Now, we've also watched these games in play and say, damn, DeJounte won us probably 7 to 10 games last year of games in the past we would have just sent home because we were getting whooped. We have seen DeJounte say, hey, guys, I don't play like you guys. And if there's still time on the clock, I'm going to go out here and try to bust somebody's ass. And I've seen him win 7 to 10 games last season. Period. But
how many did the Trae win?
Come back when we were destroyed?
You said won 7 to 10 games. How many did Trae win? Trae led us in scoring and assists most of the games. Well, I'm trying to understand your point. Which
I think that if
he said I'm going to be number 2, and you said sure, whatever. He said it from his own mouth, quoted. I know that this is Trae Young's team. You think this is a lie? You think he took less money to then come back and lie and say,
I think this is poor career management. I think this is poor asset management. I think this is actually foolishness by him. I think that if he shot as many shots as Trae, he would score as many points. I think if he had the ball in his hands,
he didn't have as good a shot. He didn't have a good shot.
Like I said, I believe that he would score as many points as Trae, and I also think that he would average as many assists as Trae if he was a primary ball handler, considering he had 7 assists playing off the ball from a guy who never plays off the ball. Yeah. You tell me you get 7 and you got to let Trae have the ball 80% of the time, then yeah, I think you get to 10 pretty easy.
Okay. Because we're going to spiral. He didn't have the ball 80% of the time. When Trae went out, Trae was the first one to the bench so they could give DeJounte the ball. Like, did you watch the games? Like, what are you talking about?
Yes, but how many minutes does Trae play? 35, right?
Know. How many does DeJounte play? It's like 34. They both play 30-plus minutes.
Okay, then. So for the majority of the time that DeJounte is playing, Trae has the ball in his hands.
No. I just told you they sub each other out.
Okay, but they're 48 minutes in the game. So they're only 13. The maximum amount of time that DeJounte could be the primary ball handler is 13 minutes.
No, okay. I think your math is off, but you know time can overlap, right? Like they don't, just because DeJounte plays 34 and Trae plays 34 doesn't mean they're always on the court at the same time.
Correct, but the most amount of minutes they could not be on the floor at the same time is 13.
DeJounte brought the ball up. You saying 80% is an
that was an exaggeration, but we know Trae don't play off the ball.
And I'm saying I think that this year he's gonna have to. I think he is.
Okay? So let's have a real conversation.
So if he's not gonna play off the ball, then he's number 2 then.
Yeah, and we're gonna do this again. We're headed back to the same place.
Wait.
We're headed to the same restaurant with less gas in the car.
So is DeJounte your number 2 or not? That's how the whole conversation started. You said he's not.
No, DeJounte is the best player on the Atlanta Hawks.
I said he's your number 2. Is he your number 2?
To me, no. He's
the number 2 option on the team.
Oh yeah, he would shoot less. He would shoot less than Trae Young, and he would have the ball in his hands less than Trae Young. I don't think that's the right answer. I think that's the very wrong answer.
Okay.
So wait. You think so? Wait. So do you really think Trae is going to defer to DeJounte this year and play off the ball?
Mm-hmm. I think he will have to. I don't. What is Norwood? What is this? I don't know what this is.
That was just me.
He will have to. I don't think. From what we've just seen, Trae doesn't like being a villain. Trae doesn't want to be called a coach killer. He think he's trying to keep up his rep. He's gonna have to play off the ball because if it doesn't work, like you said, there's no more excuses. It's your fault. You've gotten rid of John. You've gotten DeJounte. You've gotten rid of Nate. You've gotten rid of Lloyd. You and Kevin Huerter.
Travis, don't forget about Travis.
Oh, Travis Schlink. You and Huerter wasn't really cool. Well, we don't know that. But you got Huerter's gone, but you signed Bogey, which looks funny in the light.
Everybody who has gone, Trae has said okay to. Everybody who stays, Trae has said okay to. I'm not going to sit here and act like we don't pay him the lion's share of money and they're not asking him about players who show up and leave. DeJounte Murray was a Trae request specifically. He can play that, I just sit here and play the backup. I'm not into making decisions.
Well, I thought that was a Nick Wrestler thing.
No, that is DeJounte's guy. That was a Trae broker deal.
They talked about it, but okay. We talked about it before, how Nick Wrestler, put his foot down, and they got rid of Schlink when he didn't want to do it, and they went and got him. So,
you think that if Trae said, hey, no, don't bring this guy here, they would have brought DeJounte here?
No. But I'm saying that was a Nick Wrestler move. What are we talking about? Zion said he was asked about dieting on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. We're not gonna play the video because we still got to get to football and summer league. He basically said that he is now taking his weight seriously after getting $180 million. Boy, I'd trade you tomorrow. Like, if I'm the Pelicans, I'd be like, as you said before, this is bad career management. This is a bad publicist. This is bad everything. You better go get you that same team that worked for Jalen Hurts and figure out let them tell you what to do, because you, sir, are spiraling down.
These girls are not coming to work for Zion. They work with Jalen because he works hard every day. I'm not saving Zion when I can work with Jalen Hurts.
What I'm saying is, this was a poor move. I would never have admitted, even if it is known. I don't care if I was 6'8", 400 pounds. I'm never admitting on camera, after all the stuff that I've been through. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't. No. Accountability comes after the results. I would come back and say that. Yeah, you're right. I got serious about my weight after I come back and average 25 and 15 or whatever he was doing when he played.
Didn't I tell you this on day one when they drafted him? I said he does not care about his physical stature. He does not care about his weight. I didn't need him to confirm what we already knew. If he wanted to get in good shape, You could be like all the rest of the NBA players who get in good shape. The words don't mean anything. The actions show me that he's not interested in working out. The words are just confirmation of what I've been telling y'all for the last 3 years.
Very true.
Same thing I told y'all.
But what I'm saying is, from a career standpoint, Zion would not have gone on popped up on Gilbert Arenas podcast and admitted that that they're already trying to get rid of you. I guess you got your money already. But I mean, like, there's no way.
You don't know that.
It doesn't matter. You're missing the point. I don't care who knows. I'm not confirming. I'm never gonna confirm that. I don't care. Don't care. I will confirm it after the results have changed. There's no way there's no way I'm gonna be on crack and admit on TV that I'm on crack. I don't care if you know it. After I get clean, I'll admit it off camera. I'll come back after I'm clean and be like, man, that crack was kicking my ass. I'm glad I was able to kick. But I'm not gonna be on TV, man. I'm on crack. I'm not gonna be no, you're not gonna do that. That's crazy. Crazy.
I mean, I don't have an issue with it because I already knew what it was. I told y'all once again, he don't care. That's not a thing for him. He just wants to play basketball.
Yep.
Speaking
real
of wanting to play basketball, the Phoenix 2K Suns now have signed 2K Warrior Bol. I'm thrilled about this. I'm sure crazy. Reggie is too. We have crazy. Supported Bol.
I don't know what's about to happen in the West, now. But this is their roster. When I went back and looked at it before the show, like everybody aside from like 2 people is like 6'8". 2 or 3 people is like 6'8" to 7'3".
Earlier today, I said, hey, they went and got and Brian Wilhorst. I'm gonna tell you, Brian Wilhorst really broke it down for me. He was like, everybody who they got is a plus shooter, and they're all long 6'8" plus guys. They're gonna try to shoot. They're gonna stretch out the defense, and they're gonna try to do their best to rebound because they're taller than everybody else. That's their game plan. And they were smart with the way that they offered all of these guys basically a 2-year contract with the player option for the next year. So it is what it is. I think that they're aggressively trying to make a run at a chip, and I'm interested to see what this looks like. I love Bol.
Well, KD is 34, so there is no rebuilding for KD. KD, LeBron, all those guys, Kawhi, all those guys are now in the win now portion of their career. So you have to win now.
As much as
What's interesting about this group is they're going to put Bradley Beal at the 1. They're going to put Devin Booker at the 2. I'm assuming KD at the 3, somebody at the 4, and Ayton at the 5. The issue is, do you start Bol or do you start anybody else and bring Bol off the bench?
Me, I'm starting. He's on my team right now in the Xbox.
Not gonna Whitney Houston that. Talk about the crack. AJ. Back to it. The Suns are built now. That's one team that is built to outscore you. The defense is optional. They'll play. They all can switch defense, and they're annoying defensively, but offensively, there's nobody. I don't know if you can stop really anybody other than Ayton.
And I hate to say it, but Ayton, you're gonna have to man up on defense because this is you.
You know the trade though. The trade that they should have made was to trade Ayton for Clint Capella. That was the trade. When those rumors came out and there was inquiries and calls and talks, that would have been the trade. Because then you would have had, first you could have got more players, and you would have got off Ayton and brought in a defender / rebounder in Clint Capella, who does not need the ball to score. And none of these guys really play in the post. They're all shooters. So he would have been in the post by himself. That was the trade to make. Not saying you still can't, because the Hawks are shopping Capella. And if they don't get Siakam, I could see them trying to go get Ayton.
You think we're gonna send them
Clint Capella for Ayton? If they're making them available.
Hell no, that don't work. You'd have to the same deal that you're gonna have to send Siakam is the same deal you have to send Phoenix. So you have to send DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella.
Oh, I'd send them Bogey. Well, yeah, Bogey.
They'll take Bogey too. Shit, yeah. Come off the bench and shoot.
They will. Do we want to talk about the SB Summer League? SB's Braun got cooked on the SBs. He wore them
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog glasses. Summer League. We'll just make fun of real quick. We got a few things to talk about. I really wanted to talk about QJ Peterson and what Summer League is all about. Summer League is about giving people an opportunity. A lot of people say Summer League is to see this rookies, which it is. It's a rookie showcase. But there's a lot of players that are playing for their basketball careers. This is their opportunity. Keyonte George, he's not playing this for his career. He's going to be a really, really good player. But he says he has a motivational lock screen of all of his weaknesses. And they said he's Jordan Clarkson. Now, Jordan Clarkson ain't bad to be compared to, one. But what's crazy is they said his weaknesses were athleticism, 3-point consistency, shot selection, and passing and turnovers. He's averaged 33 points, 10 assists, and 6 three-pointers made. I would say he got 30 points, 10 assists, and then 26.7 in the first 2 Summer League games. He has been cooking. Well, he was cooking. It's over with now. They didn't make it, but he was cooking. Danny Ainge, I don't know why y'all keep making deals with Danny Ainge. I don't know why y'all keep making deals with Danny Ainge.
One day y'all gonna figure out that if Danny Ainge is making a deal, you're volunteering to get robbed. Atlanta Hawks, Minnesota Timberwolves, Cleveland. And it's so funny that they traded away Rudy Gobert and immediately found Walker Kessler. You think that was by accident? They traded away Donovan Mitchell and they go get Keyonte George and he looks like this. This is not by accident. Danny Ainge has a plan. He is the man, and he is not playing with y'all. Y'all gonna figure this out come hell or high water. But I'm telling you right now, and if he can play like this,
the Jazz. I mean, it's also Summer League, so like you expect players of his caliber to dominate Summer League like the way he is. So it's getting kind of crazy out there in Utah.
But yeah, even if say he's not the Summer League player that he is right here. Stay instead of the 26, he gives you 15, but it's a good 15. Well, hell, you already got Jordan Clarkson, Agbaji, and you got Colin Sexton. Well, then suddenly you're gonna have 48 minutes of good guard play.
And Danny Ainge ain't done wheeling and dealing. I ain't too convinced that Sexton gonna stay there.
Somebody gonna volunteer to be stupid.
I about to say I don't know if Colin Sexton gonna be there. Although he's their defensive stalwart, so he probably will be. But then he still can make some. He's still tradable too.
Starting point guard. I think that maybe like the Magic. I think he's a better option than what the Magic have right now.
But even if they'd make a trade with the Magic, all of them over there, they would still flourish in Utah too. Like any one of them.
My sentiments exactly. And younger, we can get these guys on a rookie contract. Yeah.
So I also wanted to highlight QJ Peterson. This is a long post. I'm not going to read the whole post, but basically, he has 6-figure deals to go play in Europe. His agent called and said the Knicks want to give you a tryout, but they promised. They never said that he was going to get a lot of playing time. He said, "Screw it, let's do it. We've come this far." He has this long inspirational post about being just a really good teammate, a class act. And when he finally got his opportunity, he forced the Knicks to play him. And now he's played so well that I believe he is going to get a 2-way contract in the New York Knicks basketball organization. If not them, he's played well enough to the point where he's going to get a 2-way contract somewhere in the league. So that's what Summer League is all about to me.
That's what I was going to say. This is my response is that he'll be playing. He is probably good. He'll play somewhere else.
You know where he's going to go? Because they just got rid of the same person that did this 2 years ago. Max Strus did this. You remember 2-3 years ago he did that at Summer League?
He's definitely
and he went to Miami.
He's
Definitely going to Miami. And they just got rid of Gabe Vincent. Oh, that's a Miami player right there.
Hey, Pat, let me get him on the line. Knicks. And in the Knicks, what you going to do? You got Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, quickly Dante DiVincenzo they just signed, Josh Hart, Miles McBride, and Evan Fournier at the back of the bench.
They trying to trade Fournier for a pack of gum.
I remember this guy from Augusta, Georgia, who said that you should not trade for Fournier from the Orlando Magic because he's a flaming bag of French trash.
Everybody said that. You taking credit for something everybody said.
Nah.
51 million was crazy. 51, everybody was loud saying you overpaid.
I don't care what it was. Evan Fournier is not a very good basketball player. I hate to tell you. And yeah, that deal was as bad as I predicted it to be.
And then of course
not as bad as these shoes though.
This is a Norwood special right here, the Glazed Timbs.
That you a damn lie.
These are Timbs with the protective shine on them is what I'm gonna shoot the bail for.
Man, these look shellacked.
But Shy, Shy be out there though. He the one that was wearing the big red shoes when it first came out. You know, he a New York kid.
All of that. No, he's Canadian.
Yeah, but he went to Syracuse. He has been on record saying that New York was one of his favorite cities. He's been there multiple times.
New Orleans is my favorite city, not from the Bayou. But nah, this is terrible. These Timbs are terrible. Don't wear. The only thing that we support Glazed over here is Krispy Kreme donuts.
There's a joke there.
Yep. I thought about it after I said it. I mean, you can make any Larsa Pippen joke that you want to right there. But these are terrible, my guy.
She doesn't find that funny, by the way.
I'm sure she. Boy. Hey,
Off
but
if
you do want to be my point, if you do want to be my point guard, I would love to trade you for Trae Young at any point. Whenever you're ready, big dog. Bad shoes and all.
Yep. Tatum and Grant got into it. Not in a playfully. Although Grant did say Tatum can't go left, which also neither one of them really.
Be your boys. Well, that's the whole thing. They should not have to go left. They should have a guard who can help them make shots because they're two of the best guys in the damn NBA. But instead of doing that, they went and just got a 7-footer. Who knows? Make it make sense.
I don't know what they're gonna do. Let's talk about the worst trade in history since you're talking about
SGA.
at
the one. Come on, man.
Paul George was traded to the Clippers from OKC. For y'all that can't see that, that's for SGA, Danilo Gallinari, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 first-round picks. Is that? Did I read that right? 1, 2, 3.
Didn't read it wrong.
5, 6, 7. They got the OKC got SGA, Danilo Gallinari, and 7 first-round picks for Paul George. This quite possibly is the worst trade in history, in recent history. And we
have not even gotten a finals appearance.
We ain't even talked about Minnesota and the 5 picks they traded for Rudy Gobert because 7 is bigger than 5. That is insane.
If you don't believe me, you can ask Larsa Pippen. She would know.
That's the name of the podcast, Larsa Pippen. It's got to be because the jokes.
Larsa Pimpin.
Strolling. Nah, see, that's crazy. 7 picks though. 7 picks is the worst. That's the worst. That's awful.
Or no finals appearances. None.
And SGA has played more games than Paul George.
What? SGA is on the cusp of becoming. I mean, I think he's better than Trae, so that lets you know what I feel about SGA.
Think he's better than Paul George?
I think Paul George knows that SGA is better than him.
Both healthy? You think SGA is better than him?
Healthy? When you seen Paul George healthy?
That's what I'm saying. You think if both were healthy, you think that their SGA is better than him?
I don't have to think about that because Paul George ain't never healthy.
I'm not going to answer the question. Cool. Kyrie Irving signed
wait. Time out. I think that Paul George would be a better basketball player than SGA if he was healthy. I don't think that Paul George is ever going to be healthy, so SGA is a better basketball player.
Kyrie Irving signs a sneaker deal with Anta Sports, the Chinese sneaker company, which also makes him, I believe, vice president and chief creative officer (CCO) at the company. Will allow him to recruit and sign other players for collaborations, which means he's coming right for Nike. I don't know. He doesn't have the backing right now, but I mean, another player that did this, Dwayne Wade. Them Wades be selling out over there in China.
So, I do like this. Number one, I like this because everybody was like, "Oh, he's done with Nike. What is he gonna do now?" Type of thing. He showed you pretty quickly. Showed that, hey, I can bounce back. Nike is not the only people. I do like that they gave him a position. I assume that position probably comes with either a paycheck or hopefully equity in Anta. They have been around for a while now. I think this is the same people who put out Clay's shoe too. So, there's definitely an opportunity here. With that said, you have to have the kid gloves on and you have to know what you're signing up for. This is just like Adidas signing up with Kanye. You're right. Congratulations. I think this is a fantastic partnership, but you also need to be very aware of who you're making a deal with and who you're putting in charge and who you're going to put as the face of your brand.
What I'm interested in is the Chinese government. I'm not going to say I'm well versed in communism, but I know that the government has their hands in every faction of business that goes on in China. That's just part of communism. And I say communism is legally. Like, they can, not the illegal stuff that be happening over here. I'm talking about legally. They can take control of almost anything they want to. Kyrie is very outspoken. Kyrie is very outspoken about global issues. How does that work? Just like you said, Kanye and Adidas, that was from what happens when something happens in Taiwan, right? Taiwan and China. You Kyrie
right to where I was going to.
What Kyrie gonna say? Nothing, because he's CEO of that company. That's gonna be interesting. That's the part that I'm waiting on.
Kyrie has made it very clear that he is his own entity and he speaks on things that are near and dear to his heart. So, you're in a very interesting situation, but everybody knew who everybody was going into the deal. I want to see how the deal plays out. I thoughts and prayers and best wishes to all parties involved.
Yeah, man. It is what it is. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the basketball segment of episode 112 of the SplashCast. Stay tuned. We'll take about 2 minutes, get you something to drink. We won't be gone long because we got some football stuff to talk about. Dak is on drugs, and running backs have been devalued to the point where a rookie is the highest paid running back in the league, and he ain't even played a down yet. Y'all stay tuned. We will be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our final segment of episode 112 of the SplashCast, the Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw. Our news around football. Man, we got some things. This is nothing great. It's a lot of bad news in this football segment. Norwood, are you frozen? Did the Chinese weather balloons get you? Oh, no, you here. There you go.
I don't know. I don't consider this bad news mostly.
We'll see.
I think this is an opportunity for a group of people to
unionize. No. Let's start off with the running backs. Saquon Barkley And the Giants are not expected to reach a long-term agreement before, which was today's 4 p.m. deadline, which they did not, for franchise tag players. With no long-term deal being reached today, Barkley is expected to report to training camp, is not expected to report to training camp with the rest of his team. The Giants are not expected to see Barkley until later this summer. If then, Barkley will have decisions to make as to when he is willing to report. Can't believe that they didn't pay him. They paid Danny Dimes $34 million, though. Paid Danny Dimes. And if we'll come back to Saquon, because everybody stood up for him. Tony Pollard and the Cowboys did not reach a long-term agreement, nor did Josh Jacobs, who led the league in rushing, reach a long-term agreement with the Raiders. That is wild. And NFL Twitter reacted to the running backs not getting paid. All of them stood together. Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris. I agree with my running back brothers about it. NFL history will show you that you need running backs to win. We set the tone for every game. Derrick Henry at this point, just take the running back position out of the game then. The ones that want to be great and work as hard as they can to give their all to an organization just seems like it doesn't even matter. I'm with every running back that's fighting to get what they deserve. Saquon Barkley says it is what it is. And finally, before we jump off this conversation, this is what I was referencing earlier, y'all. Bijan Robinson was drafted number 8 in the draft by the Atlanta Falcons. As a result of him being drafted number 8, he comes in at a rookie wage of $13 million total this year for his rookie contract. That makes him the highest paid running back in the league. He has not played a down. Yeah.
That's kind of tricky, though, because that's just how the contract will be for the first year. He won't get that every year. He will soon and very soon be in a very similar situation to these guys.
It doesn't matter. To me, that doesn't matter, though, because the fact that he hasn't played it down and he's getting 13.72, even if it's for 1 year, yet Christian McCaffrey gets 12, Kamara is 11, Aaron Jones is 10, Derrick Henry is 10, Nick Chubb is 10, Mixon, Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing is 10, Saquon Barkley is 10, Tony Pollard is 10, and they're all the same 10, 10.91, 10.0, 91, 10.091, 10.1 for Joe Mixon, then 10.5. It's like they're not paying anybody who's not over $10 million unless you're Christian McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, so this year it's $13 million, and then it goes to 7, 6, and 5. Then potentially he's going to be in the same situation of getting hit by the tag for 2 years back to back. I'm actually in a position, if I'm Saquon Barkley, I'm saying fuck the New York Giants. Win without me. You paid Danny Dimes. Show me that Danny Dimes is the man who you believe him to be. I'm not showing up for anything. I'm not signing up for anything. I'm not signing anything unless it's a contract. It's that simple. Either you're going to pay me or I'm going to watch you struggle. And the thing about it is, if Danny Dimes doesn't, if you look at when Danny Dimes has Saquon and when he does not have Saquon, you can clearly see that Saquon is what makes Danny Dimes good. And if that's the case, you paid him, make him show me. If I'm Brandon Jacobs and the Las Vegas Raiders,
Josh Jacobs,
same thing. Josh Jacobs, same thing goes there. You got who? He couldn't make it with the 49ers, and you brought him over here to good luck and Godspeed. I'll ruin your season too. I'm not. There's no way that you can play with these people, man.
Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's another one. They just paid him.
I think he's a little bit more expendable. The Giants don't have an offense without Saquon. The Raiders don't have an offense without Josh Jacobs. That play action is dead if you know that the guy running the ball ain't a killer.
And unfortunately, the Patrick Mahomes of the world being so great it downplayed the running back position.
No, see, I think that's misleading. Because if you had Patrick Mahomes, then you're right.
That's what. I know. But what I'm saying is, everybody, the NFL is a copycat league, so they're gonna try to copycat the Kansas City, and I'm gonna get to the racial component too. I'm gonna let you speak after I say this, but NFL is a copycat league, so they always invest in the quarterback. Now it's the receivers and your do-it-all tight ends, and then the running back. That's how they're looking at it.
But chat GPT this thing, I'm going to tell you right now, because it ain't no way in hell. None of these teams who are trying to copy Patrick Mahomes, they don't have Patrick Mahomes. They don't have the other Mahomes, the one getting in trouble. You don't have no Mahomes. You don't have Pops Mahomes. You don't have none of them.
Jamal Williams, they didn't want to pay him. I think this is probably a front office thing. Like, I think the NFL owners conspire.
You got to think, Daboll, it's in his best interest to have him come back. I need Saquon.
I mean, the way Daboll,
I'm telling
when
you,
he was in Buffalo, Daboll doesn't value the running back. In Buffalo, they never drafted a great running back.
Yeah, but you had Josh Allen. You're talking of top tier quarterbacks. Danny Dimes is mid at best. At his very best, he is, and he ain't mid. Mid is Kirk Cousins, and as mediocre as I think Kirk Cousins is, I don't think that Danny Dimes.
You know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get.
So
with Kirk. You don't know what you're gonna get with Danny.
Yes, you're gonna get 500. Danny Dimes, he's lucky to be 500 with Saquon. So
what receivers did they sign? What receivers did they sign?
You talking about the Giants? Oh, they did get Waller at tight end, but that ain't enough. It ain't enough without Saquon.
Not when you lose Saquon. I could see if you had the Chiefs offense, right? Let's scratch Patrick Mahomes.
You can't throw away Patrick Mahomes because in the offense, no offense.
Hey, y'all done, right?
No.
Oh, bye.
People, see? Back to it. When you have a receiving core and an offensive mind, and scratch Patrick Mahomes, when you have Travis Kelce, at the time Tyreek Hill, you had now you have, and then you have all these other players. You have generational talents at other positions. Giants ain't got no generational talent at any other position. Not none. Not zero. Not one. The generational talent is this man right here. This is the generational talent
for the New York Giants: Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, tight end Darren Waller. This is not enough. I'm gonna tell you.
None of
right
them
now
are generational talents.
I'm
Saquon is a generational talent at running back. The stuff that he can do is amazing, and y'all don't want to pay him. There is a racial. Before I get to the racial component, is there anything? Because you said something about unionize. You think they should all unionize? Just
no.
Union within the union,
like unionize. But there is a point where y'all have to stick up for yourself and say, "Hey, if you're gonna," because all of these guys are playing on the franchise tag. If any of them get hurt and Saquon's been hurt, then they're not gonna get any money ever again. So if you're willing to ruin my season, I'm willing to ruin yours, and then you just would do it together. We'll be miserable together.
The proper business thing would be to sign them to large contracts for 2 years, like the NBA did for a while. That's basically what LeBron does. If you have Saquon and you say, okay, 2 years, $75 million. If he gets hurt, or 2 years, $30 million. $60 million. If he gets hurt, you still get him off the books. You got to eat that for a year, but you still get him off the books. That's the answer. But to not even sign these dudes, but you sign Kirk Cousins to guaranteed contracts. Sign. Go ahead.
Okay, so what happens if you sign him to that big contract? It's a 2-year contract. He gets all the money, and he blows it out of the water.
That's your fault. That's the game. That's the game you play.
Wait, what do you mean it's your fault? Is it the team's fault?
Yes, because you didn't sign him to a long-term deal. If you sign him to a long-term deal and you actually paid him what he's allegedly worth, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But because the games you playing, you think the running back is devalued, you could just plug and play. All right, well, if you could plug and play, then just pay me my money now. Pay me my big money now for 2 years. If you think I'm gonna get hurt over 4 years, pay me for 2 years. 2 years and an option.
So you come back.
All right, that's what is the saying? That's business. Yeah. You want to play stupid games, you can lose. You could also win. He could blow out his knee. We don't never want that to happen. He could blow out his knee, and then you come off the contract.
So for me, if I'm Josh Jacobs, I'm not showing up. Win without me. If I'm Saquon, I'm not showing up. Win without me. Tony Pollard, they'll just call Zeke back and find somebody else. Like, I like Tony Pollard, but he don't have the same level. He don't have the same leverage.
He does at this point of the offseason. He does.
No, he don't.
Why he don't?
Well, I would call Dalvin Cook.
There's a reason they haven't. If they do, you think Dalvin Cook only gonna take $10 million a year?
No, but I could pay Dalvin $12 million, and he's really good. I want Tony Pollard. If Tony Pollard can't really,
so we're assuming that Tony Pollard wants more than $12 million a year. Then
no, he just wants more than they probably value him at.
And so Dalvin Cook is in this situation too. Minnesota didn't want to pay him.
Minnesota is urging.
No,
I think they're about to cleanse that team and build it around Justin Jefferson. I think that's 100% the right thing to do. We're gonna free up all this money because we got us one, and we got to do whatever it takes to get him. And then Kirk, you can go. All of those defensive guys they drafted over the last few years, you can go. Adam Thielen, you can go, and we're gonna have money. We're gonna get us a quarterback in the next few drafts, and we're gonna go in a different direction. That's it.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna make it racy. You know, there's a history of not paying running backs and overpaying quarterbacks, underpaying running backs and overpaying quarterbacks. The reason is, and why that all started, the running backs were all black. Quarterbacks were all white. Quarterbacks always got the money.
All black now. The good one.
And yeah, they are. But what I'm saying is, imagine if a black quarterback came up with the production of Danny Dimes for 1 year, not for 4. He had a good season last year with Saquon.
Geno Smith.
And he got ostracized for 10. And Geno didn't have a bad year. He got his jaw broke. And they just didn't sign him back.
What I'm saying is, you asked for a quarterback who had one really good season and then got some money. Geno Smith. Same thing. Him and Danny Dimes are, for all intents and purposes, last season the same guy.
To me, it's different because Geno Smith, 1, is a veteran. 2,
Danny is too, though.
I mean, what, 3 years? This is his first contract.
No, he ain't.
This is his first contract. Danny Dimes has done nothing.
Now that I agree with.
Danny Dimes has done nothing.
19, 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
He's been a starter all of those years. He's started more seasons than Geno.
And probably had similar output. Starter, he was ass. He led the league in fumbles.
I still think he's ass. Let's be very clear about that.
But what I'm saying is I'm talking about those years you was talking about.
Go back and look, his first season might have been the best. First season wasn't terrible. It was 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 3,000 yards on 62% completion. And then last year, 67, which is better, 3,200 yards, but only 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
He's ass, bro.
I mean, you want 24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, or 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions?
For $34 million guaranteed a year, I want 34 touchdowns.
Boy, You better add up 2 seasons to get 34 touchdowns.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's no way you could say that Saquon doesn't deserve. Saquon ain't even asking for 30. He's probably. I think they ask for like 17 to 20. Asking for 50%.
No, you don't need to do that. Pay him $14 million. All you gotta do is make him the highest paid, and that ain't expensive.
Well, it's not unless all the running backs come together and be like, well, I mean, 10 million ain't really.
The thing is, you can't do that. You're not gonna be able to reset the market that much this late into the season. If I'm Josh Jacobs, I'm asking, just pay me more than Bijan. If he's at 13-1, make me 13-2. At least make so it's just like whatever.
But that's what they did earlier. It was 10.1. But what I'm saying is 13 for what you're asking for running backs to do, especially those guys, is too low. That's too low.
Yeah, but you can't. I don't think that you're gonna get to 20. What I'm saying is, if you say, "Hey, pay me 14 a year," then yeah, you got to take that because you're the highest.
And I'm saying they should have been at 20 because the quarterback market gets reset every year. Kirk Cousins was resetting the market like twice. Kirk Cousins and guaranteed money. He's reset the market twice.
Well, the thing about it is, if you go back to that slide of the guys who got paid, how many of those guys are truly the number one option on their team?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
After you go back and look at it, like out of these guys, well, let me see here. Christian McCaffrey.
Well, I say talk through it. What are you talking about? Quarterbacks, running backs? What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, I don't think that all of these players have the same leverage. They don't. Some of them do, some of them don't. I think that Christian McCaffrey, he probably gets more touches than Debo, so I can understand how you could say that. Alvin Kamara
is the Saints' offense.
You're right, but I think that they probably just gonna part ways because they're gonna go in a different direction because they can't win anyway. Aaron Jones, with the Packers, he is
downplayed. He was downplayed because of Aaron Rodgers, but we saw what happened when you took him out of the game.
Yeah, and we're gonna see what he's made of this year. Nick Chubb is the Cleveland Browns offense. Derrick Henry is the Tennessee Titans offense. Joe Mixon, he restructured. He's right because he's the fourth option. That's just where it gets weird. Is you have a bunch of first option, fourth option,
and there's like $100,000 difference. There's like a $500,000 difference.
Yeah, like you can't. If I'm Derrick Henry, you can't pay me the same amount as
Joe Mixon. That's insane.
You crazy as hell, bro. Hey, nope.
That's insane. That's insane.
I work too hard at this job for y'all to pay me the same as Joe Mixon.
I work too hard. You work me too hard to pay that. You make me run the ball 400 times a year. They have Mike Vrabel leads is second in the Tennessee Titans in receiver touchdowns. Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. You're right. Because and then Josh Jacobs. There's no way that Josh Jacobs get paid less than Joe Mixon. Saquon and then,
no way the rushing title. When has the passing leader ever gotten paid less than the next person when the contract was up? When? Or the receiving leader or the leading tackler. Maybe linebacker. I think linebacker may be in the same boat as the running back.
Nah, I wonder what Cooper Kupp's getting paid.
Good amount of money. He's getting paid more than $10 million. I can tell you that without even looking it up. I can tell you that right now. Right now, he's getting paid what? 15, 17? I would say the Glazed, but
I mean, honestly, it's $20 million a year.
Yeah. What you think Justin Jefferson about to get paid? You about to get paid 25.
Bang. Bang! Just leave him outside my house. Don't even back up to bring stuff.
What you think Jamar Chase about to get paid? T. Higgins just got paid like $84 million over 4 years or something like that. Like,
but for me, yeah, especially if I'm on a couple of these teams where I'm the whole team, I'm not coming to work. Y'all go to work and tell me about it, and I'm gonna watch y'all lose every game.
The Jets.
He got paid though. Quinnen Williams,
4 years, 96. 66 million guaranteed. 4 years, 66 million guaranteed. That's 24. That's 16 almost 16 million. I want to say
he resets the market at that position too. He was right there.
33.
He was the next guy.
Yeah, 16.5. So yeah, you had to pay him because Dexter Lawrence got 91 or something like that.
Yeah.
Now that's one position you can't argue because they're there to stop the run and rush the passer, which he does very, very well.
And that's the reason it was kind of stupid to me to even let this last this long. You knew exactly what you had to pay him. You might as well just get on through it. All you can do is piss somebody off like that. And as soon as y'all start losing, which there's still a chance that y'all could do, people are gonna remember shit like that.
And they paid Deron Payne, if I'm not mistaken. That's who the second person they paid. They paid Dexter Lawrence and Deron Payne, and then they paid Quinnen Williams. And I don't think the Jets waited to pay Quinnen Williams. I think Quinnen Williams was like, y'all gonna have to. What's the market? I think his starting point was probably like $100 million, and then once the other people got paid, he was like, all right, I'll take 96. You know what I mean? Like, as you also got to know your value, and he's like, man, none of y'all are good without me.
And as another additional tidbit on. The Jets will be on Hard Knocks this year on HBO.
Yes, they will.
That seems to be very interesting to me.
You had to do that though, because the sauce at Aaron Rodgers. You had to.
No, like they were out of all the teams that were eligible for the requirements that it was, the Jets were the only team that met that requirement. But they felt like since they've added Aaron Rodgers, they shouldn't have to be held to that standard because they have Aaron Rodgers. I think that HBO was like, nah, we want to see what this looks like.
I don't think what was the requirement? You got to be terrible?
Yes.
That's a poor business model.
No,
it's intriguing to see people fail.
Yeah, but if you're a good team, no, I don't have to let you guys in here and see. I don't have to. So that's kind of the deal that comes with Hard Knocks is you have to have been one of the worst teams the year before in order to be eligible.
Speaking of worst teams,
and I think that they have to have made the playoffs in the last 2 years. This team has a first year head coach and has been featured on. So if you haven't made the playoffs in the last 2 years, or you have a first year head coach, and they don't have a first year head coach, and they haven't made the playoffs in the last 2 years. Well, damn.
Well, speaking of, I ain't gonna say bad teams, but
damn, it was only 4 options: New Orleans, Chicago, and Washington. And you can already cancel New Orleans.
There's no way I'm not picking the Jets for that. I'm definitely picking the Jets. Washington, Chicago would be number 2.
No, Chicago would have been number 2. I think Washington would have been number 2 because they're selling the organization. That's going to be interesting.
I don't know if the organization that's legal though. There's a whole bunch of legalities that go along with the selling of that organization that I don't know if you would have been able to cover in an HBO documentary.
No, Chicago, but you're still going to be able to see the change of.
But Chicago is organization. Chicago is in an interesting situation because of this is a prove it year for Justin Fields. They've done the same thing that they've went and got a bunch of. Well, I don't know who I think they went and got some players, not a bunch of players. They went and got some players.
Oh yeah. They got old boy from Carolina, DJ
Moore, Chase Claypool. They brought in last year. They got Cole Kmet. They got a running back too. I just can't remember because they traded.
But Chicago, to me, the Bears are not a big draw for a
audience.
Like they're not a newspaper article. Nothing about them says headline. Like, okay, cool. But we're also, I think, all resigned to the fact that the Bears could just keep being the Bears and it wouldn't surprise anybody.
Run the ball 40 times, still don't have
boring offense, and be mediocre. Like that wouldn't. I don't think that surprises anybody.
Yeah.
Or we can listen to Throw Rogan be crazy. You know it. Jets, and it's New York. It's too much money.
Yeah, moving on, man. Dak Prescott had 25 interceptions over the last 2 seasons, but he's predicting that this year will be different. He said he won't have 10 interceptions this year. I said, you're right. You'll have 12 or more.
I am going to DM Dak tomorrow and see if he will take my bet. I will post it on Instagram after I do it. Hey, big dog. I'm going to tell y'all exactly what I'm going to say before I do it. Hey, big dog, you said you won't have 10. I'm taking the over on that, and I got $250. I'll post it after I do it. Please,
boy, you tripping. Hey, listen, I got $250 and an appearance on the podcast. That's the answer.
I mean, sure.
Be mad. Yeah. I want you to be mad online.
I mean, that would be great. But yeah, even him signing up for the bet is more than enough for me. But yeah, I don't think that I don't think there's a chance in hell he won't have 10 interceptions, which I don't know if people are reading this right. That means the max he can throw is 9 interceptions, correct?
Yeah. That's less than an interception a game. It's less than an interception. That's a half an interception a game, really.
And the only time we saw that was the season that you didn't play. So don't trust you.
In the NFC, they're in the East. Yeah, no. No, I ain't even got to look at y'all schedule. You know what's interesting about...
They got to play Philly twice. what you need to know?
You know what's interesting? And they got to play Washington with that D-line.
That's not true, too. He's thrown 8 interceptions in 2018, and he threw 4 interceptions in 2016. Every other year, he going to hit that mark.
Oh, well, then he's due for it. So I might take the under. He's due.
Oh, no. Now, I also want to know that 2020 season was cut short. So the last time he did it, and I think played the majority of the season, was 2018.
So we'll see, man.
2018, 2023, we all different.
The Atlanta Falcons safety Jesse Bates is ranked as the 6th best safety in the league by NFL executives, scouts, coaches, and players, which is wild because just last season, while he was on the Bengals, he was ranked as like the top 2 safety in the league. So as soon as he comes to the Falcons, and he drops immediately to number 6. It's wild.
I don't hate that. A little bit of that is going to be on. I mean, every year there's it's like the cornerback. You can be the best cornerback in the NFL for about 2 seasons. After that, we've seen it happen with everybody. Jalen Ramsey, best cornerback in the NFL. Then you getting torched. Not that you're bad, but somebody going to try you. And they're going to be successful because they only got to be successful a couple times a game. Same thing. Now, what they can go out here and do is they can be him and AJ Terrell can go out there and shut down the side of the field and prove that, no, we are the guys who we told you we are.
To have the number 10 cornerback and the number 6 safety ain't bad. Ain't bad at all.
Ain't bad. Do you know our team is the Atlanta Falcons? That's a problem we ain't never had, talking about ain't bad. This is good.
AJ Terrell.
And Jeff Okudah, let's be real. He was drafted high. Like, they're still, look at that. Sorry ass DK.
DK had 1 touchdown this game, and everything else he got cooked. We won that game too.
Because DK is overrated.
You run straight. Run straight. So the Falcons, man, I think if our defensive line and our linebackers can be as good as everybody thinks they are going to be based on the defensive coordinator hire and the moves we've made, that pressure creates lanes for cornerbacks and safeties to jump routes. If you can do that, and if you remember, the Saints intercepted a good amount of passes because of their defensive line, you might have something. The
linebackers are questionable. Linebackers are by far the most questionable group. Linebackers on defense, wide receivers on offense. Questionable position groups.
Sauce Gardner and Darrelle Revis clapped back at Asante Samuel to ignite a Twitter beef. I don't know. Well, I do know. So Asante Samuel basically talking about Sauce Gardner says it's the NY media. That's why Sauce Gardner is being regarded as so good. It's the NY media. What did Revis do that was so special? I'll wait. It's documented. Want great cornerbacks? It's documented. Want great quarterbacks did in stats. Sauce Gardner says, this tweet literally says those were the cornerback rankings by players, executives, scouts, and coaches. I'm trying to figure out why you keep bringing up NY media.
Yeah, Asante Samuels, just let me save you, bro. You better leave Sauce the hell alone. He is as good as advertised. He has not disappointed. He has gone out and give you everything that we. And I out of all those players from Cincinnati, he is the only one that I respected. And I still said, hey, I need to see it for a season. We saw it. The sauce is real. It's authentic.
You just said now. You just said you could be the best one day and be getting burnt the next day because people are going to try you.
Oh, no. I don't think that he'll reign as the number one cornerback for the rest of his career. No. But
Nobody
I think
does.
that he'll flirt in that top 1 to maybe 6, 7. Yeah, you're right. When you tell people that you're the number one number one cornerback in a passing league with these guys, they're gonna try you.
Well, the thing about
you make them stop.
The thing about Darrelle Revis and why Asante Samuel came for Darrelle Revis is Darrelle Revis was like Revis Island for like 5 or 6 years. And Darrelle Revis, and you said don't come for Sauce. Well, Darrelle Revis said just landed, and he brought up receipts. And he brought up meetings where they said if it's Asante Samuel, double move him, and you're gonna go every time. Because that's what made Asante Samuel great was that he jumped routes and he was Mr. Pick Six, but he also got burnt. And then Asante responds and says, you got beat on double moves more than myself. And Darrelle Revis was like, no, I didn't. He was like, I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, what are you talking about? Which is true. And then, of course, now I will say DJ Reed jumps in and the Jets cornerbacks all jump in. And then, of course, Darius Slay says why all DBs are hating on each other. Asante, you gotta chill out, big dog. Darrelle Revis. Now, the thing about corners, and we talked about it before, the fall from grace is normally swift. It's almost like running backs when the knees go. Like Zeke was like the leading running back, and then he was
Richard
fat
Sherman
and slow.
He said that boy told me he let me know I had to retire.
He said he did a random comeback. But what I'm saying is, like, I think a lot of people, especially, I won't say as old as us, but people that remember Darrelle Revis at the tail end of his career, yeah, he got burnt. I mean, it was Randy Moss. It was a whole new generation. But that 5 years when they was going to the AFC Championship game with
that's what you did.
Mark Sanchez as the quarterback, and it was Curtis Martin on offense and Darrelle Revis on defense, and Bart Scott, y'all got to realize Darrelle Revis was shutting down everybody.
You guys somebody off.
Huh?
Curtis Martin and Mark Sanchez not at the same time.
Curtis Martin... No. Curtis Martin, Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez. Am I off?
Yeah, I think you're off a little bit. Just a little bit.
Who was the running back? Thomas Jones?
Curtis Martin. Yeah. Curtis Martin was done in 2005. Yeah, I don't think Mark Sanchez was.
He was born in 1986.
Let's see here. That's a
Mark Sanchez was born in 1986, 2009. So yeah. Then who was? Oh, it was Thomas Jones.
I thought Thomas Jones for the Bears. Don't give me the line.
He played for the Jets.
No, Yeah, I was about to say Curtis Martin.
It was Thomas Jones. It was Thomas Jones. He had 1,400 yards rushing, and Jericho Cotchery was the receiver. Jericho Cotchery.
Well, that's some type of offense, but the Jets don't care about offense at all. The Jets and Bears not caring about offense is offensive. It's like, damn, I don't even try to put together no offense.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, that's what we really wanted to talk about. Future shot at Russ. Again, Future still hurt.
It'll be on the SplashCast 36 pack. Please remember, like, follow, and subscribe. Yeah, that song is on there. Oh, you was just jamming. That's what we started.
Yeah, Russell Wilson called China. Chinese weather balloons got us. Taysom Hill says he wants to expand his role in the offense. You got to define his role first, but then they want to expand it after they define the role.
I'm not talking about Tamus.
Taysom Hill is awful.
How Tamus gets the conversation and Jameis is the better player. Now that is racist. Yeah, and Phillip Rivers finna have a kid.
Yeah, and then we're gonna end this on some sorrow. We're gonna end this on some sorrow too.
I don't know why you even want to talk about this. I don't even want to talk about it.
You know, Arthur Blank is real heavy on perception, right? He's one of the leaders. Did you move over?
Yeah. I mean, Taysom talking about receptions really perturbed me. Nah, you can leave me. I'm good right where I'm at in life.
So, long story short, Randy Moss, when he was getting traded from the Vikings, or when he was in contract negotiations, said he wanted to go to two places, if I'm not mistaken. It was the Falcons
or the Ravens.
And the Ravens. He wanted to go play with Ray Lewis and the Ravens, or he wanted to play with Michael Vick and the Falcons. Let me tell y'all something. Oh, well, let me finish the story. And then it turns out that Arthur Blank and Rich McKay called and said there is not a foreseeable way that you will be playing for the Falcons. Michael Vick and Randy Moss. I played Madden back then. That was one of the first trades you made every year when you went franchise mode. Michael Vick.
Actually, that might have been Dreamcast, so that might have been NFL 2K.
No, not when he went to the Raiders. That was Madden.
Right. You're right.
I would have traded the whole team. We decided to roll Algie Crumpler, Peerless Price, and Michael Jenkins instead of getting Randy Moss. Could you imagine Randy Moss and Michael Vick on the same field? It's only one play to run. It's only one play. It's two plays. Play action or run the ball. That's it. I don't need to do nothing else.
I'm cheating because the poor quarterback is in one-on-one coverage because you can't double him, because if you double him, then Vic is gonna find that guy and he's gonna run for 70 yards. And when you play Randy Moss one-on-one and Michael Vick has a cannon, he's gonna say run straight. He's gonna give you the old DK Metcalf.
That's when we had Burner Turner,
and he gonna do. And when that hand go up, I don't know if y'all ever seen it. When that hand go up, touchdowns come down.
He throw that hand up before he even get to you. He be looking at you like, oh, you burnt.
You know, Mike gonna chuck it to Newport News. Hey, go get it, Randy. Yeah.
So I just wanted to end that on that. I can't believe.
Now that is a very problematic team, though. Randy Moss and Michael Vick is.
That's a lot of problems, though. Now
you could very well not have no team. You spend all the money and then what? We would have been devastated.
Or we would have been legends. I would have been willing.
Worth the dice roll. I mean, look, we ain't got nothing to show for it. Not a damn thing.
Stupid ass. I hate Arthur Blank every year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reggie's not going to bring down my night as we close this wonderful 12th podcast down. We're not doing that. We support each other. This podcast is built on love for HBCUs, love for one another, having a good time surrounded by fantastic beverages. And that will not change here. Before we get out of here, what you got for us, Reg?
Man, like, follow, subscribe, man. Check out the interview with Justin Martin. Go to www.splashcast.com, as well as merch and store coming soon. Y'all stay tuned.
Yes. Also, another thing, as we grow the podcast family, because I feel like we are family here. Last year, me and Reggie picked all of the conferences, and we also chose the top 4 college football teams. This year, I think that I'm going to roll out the template a little bit early. And for all of you who want to participate, since everybody knows football, we're going to see. And we ask you guys to lock in your picks with us this year. And then at the end of the year, we're going to look back and see who really was right and who was really wrong. But it's a fantastic way to get a little bit of engagement from you guys and see who really knows football and see who's just, hating on our takes. So look forward to that here on the horizon soon and very soon.
Oh, Saturday Morning Live. We're picking NBA domestic versus international. Which team would win? By picking 15 players.
And I got a good nerve.
And Norwood has international.
Yes. And I have a good nerve to, after I pick these players, to run a simulation on 2K. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but I would like to see how that plays out. I'm very intrigued by that. Of course, SplashCast 36 pack will be out this week. Once again, like he said, go watch the deep dive with Justin Martin, man. That's still one of the favorite things that I've done since we've started this podcast journey. With that said, number one, more black baseball. And of course, your favorite team, Atlanta Braves, still scorching hot, baby. Number 2, more black cowboys and cowgirls. And then number 3, the historically black college university that you went to, your cousin went to, your auntie went to, your uncle went to, the person that you was real cool with at church or vacation Bible school. Send some money over there to that school. Historically black college university in your neighborhood, the one that you go to for homecoming, step shows, just to be around your people. You are living there, you're going there, send some money there. And then finally, the greatest learning institution in all the world, the Hampton University. We are having one of the largest freshman classes we've had in a very, very long time. Send some money over there to support. If you're going to your university for homecoming, go back to your dorm, meet the people staying in your dorm room now, bless them with a couple bucks. You ain't got to go crazy. Give them $20, $30. They wasn't planning to get that for homecoming anyway. Just hit them with it real quick, 1, 2, 3, and get them straight. I don't think we missed anything because we never do. Outside of that, adios, mi amigos, arrivederci. Until we meet again, y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Yeah. This is the SplashCast weekly schedule. You can find us on Monday Night Raw. That is the Around the League edition where we cover all of the major leagues around the league. Tuesday is the ATL edition. Braves, Falcons, Hawks. Wednesday is when the playlist comes out. It's a SplashCast 24, 12, or 36 pack, just depending on the music. Thursday, for everybody who was not able to catch us live on Monday, they can catch up there on the Around the League edition. And then Saturday, of course, we bet beers for Saturday Morning Live. If you ever need to find us, we can be found at thesplashcast.com and, of course, via Instagram at thesplashcast.
Victory is sweet and I really love the smell of it. You can't knock the movie if you only caught the tail of it. You ain't even see it. You ain't see the grind, dog. You don't know the energy it took. This journey to this smile ain't as pretty as it looks. Don't play with me. Made a pretty penny off of books. Tooth got a crook. I ain't rich off of looks. You a witness in a nigga who did everything it took. 9.7, nigga, everything shook. Still indie, still major, still working. New crib, new money, same person. I just closed on compound. I'm not interested unless it's compound. I'm so invested they thinking I'm comp now. Building staircases in my old stomp grounds. That's what it's about, right? I'm supposed to pull up in the rows. Pretend it's motivation when I overspend on clothes. Pretend it's motivation when I overindulge. Pretend it's motivation when I lack self-control. Tell them why you really fuck them hoes. Tell them how you really feel small in your soul. Tell them how you lost and can't find your way home. That's why you can't do shit but keep writing the same song. I feel it. It's gonna take a whole lot to heal it. When you see